What's going on YouTube? Doombringer here, bringing you a 400 subs thank you gameplay on Library. Basically, we played against a bunch of different fives during the first week of Judgment, but this is a sample of 3 different teams on Library, highlights and commentary to follow. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone that has subbed recently, to those that have been around since day one. It's very much appreciated, and you're only going to get the best from the channel. As much as we can get back to you guys, it all depends on how many people are searching ranked and how many people search as 5. So that's the one limit that we'll have, but other than that, I really appreciate all the feedback over the months, the likes, the favorites, whatever you've done just on your own accord, continue to do so. And if you haven't known to add a favorite or whichever, it's always welcome. You don't have to. I'm not saying you would, but if you do, thanks in advance. So we're going to get to a bit of backstory, just a couple minutes of that. Going to get right into the commentary on the gameplay as well. Just talking about mechanics and things, but I want to say I started playing Gears in 07, and it was just because I watched my brother play against different people at the time, and I was wondering what this Locust versus Cog type thing was, and played the campaign. Thought it was a great campaign. Gears 1 campaign was the only one I really played. To be honest with you, I didn't go for any campaign in Gears 2 or Gears 3. I'm halfway through the campaign on Judgment. So that's saying something. For as lack of content and whatever as people have said that it is, it's got me more interested than the other 2. So it's salvageable. It's not the absolute best, but I didn't know that. I mean, in terms of Gears 1 terms, all I knew was the angry locusts coming out of the emergence hole and trying to devour planet Sarah, which I don't know why they couldn't just call it Earth, but yeah, that's what they do. So, but a bit of backstory. So Gears 1 kind of set the tone for me as like a multiplayer player, and Annex was really where I started to focus in on that. Although prior to Annex, I played Warzone, Execution, Assassination. I was well known for being a good leader, evading away, making plays with power weapons. Pretty solid Gnasher game, but over time, it really developed as a result of playing King of the Hill. And going for one ring and going against different players and tactics really kind of shaped the way I play today. So the biggest thing, the biggest gain in skill, tactics, and thought I could tell you guys is going against host players on purpose. It's something that you will not see on many channels. You'll not hear of on any Gears channel. I was one of the few people back in the day that defied the people that would host all day against random players to boost their stats. It's irrefutable fact, and I take pride in it. Whether that's an enduring thing or whatever, that's something that I'm always going to bring to the table. So the gameplay, it's all going to depend on the teams we find, the competition, the good sportsmanship. That's really what we're about. And we'll continue to try to get the good gameplays out there. But in a Gears 1 vision, it was always one of those things where I saw the host players as exploiting the community, not knowing any better about connections, and really no one really knew the impact of the connection on a lobby. So one of the great and still unrivaled and unmatched features from Gears 1 was the fact that on the side of the map name and everything to the right, it would give you a connection indicator. It was color-coded red, yellow, or white, And that was one way to tell if you were getting into a bad connection or a good connection. When you got into a white bar connection, you could do a trick. It was going, you pick a team, and then you would unready up, press B if you had already pressed A, and you do that a couple times. If that would transition smooth enough on screen, you had a decent connection to that host. If it was laggy from input to input, that meant that you were actually in between a yellow bar and a white bar, and it was something that they never really gave another color for, but you kind of knew you didn't want to be in that lobby if you could help it. So, but that being said, a lot of times I would catch a host that would have a stacked team, and at that time it was 4 players instead of 5. And a lot of people ran solo, so the team thing was kind of new. And over time, I just built the reputation of going against hosts, and the name used to be anti-host and top 100 leaderboards and all that good stuff, but it never ceased to amaze me how many tried to continue to host lobbies after dropping 100 kills with host. You would challenge them to a game afterwards and say, hey, I'll host one, join my room. And they would never show up. If they did show up, they were in for a rude awakening. And it's always funny. It's kind of like the GB players of today. They always say that if they caught you on LAN, that you would be beaten. Well, this is why I upload what I do on Judgement, because I know better. These are some of the same people that used to host all day in Gears 1 with their stacked teams hiding behind with Lancers. That's kind of the mentality that ruined some of the multiplayer in Gears of War. It wasn't the only thing. The true thing that really kind of set us back for ranked was when Quick Match was given leaderboards. Anyone can make that argument, and they'd be right. So that's pretty much what I believe, that this game would really clean up if the Quick Match leaderboards were just, if they didn't have a bearing on the legitimacy of competition and skill. Really what you're doing is you're playing against bots and the truly new players. It's really no indication. If you have a 3.0 KD in that, your KD in ranked is probably a 1.3. Maybe a 1.5 at best. But enough of the rant. It's just discussionary. Get you guys up to speed. The thought process behind the uploads is very simply this. We go against whoever claims to be a party of 5. They could have all party chat symbols by their name. That indicates that they're all in the party and that they somehow know each other. Or even this team right here, you see it's team versus team in every scenario. But I'll tell you, we hadn't played against or with Medic before. Still haven't played too much with Callie, Show No Mercy. I used to be Callie Kid. But gameplays like this, this is going to show you guys kind of the thought process of why people would two-piece, why people would melee, just melee after a shot. Sometimes you force a melee because you're used to it actually registering from a certain distance. The depth perception in this game is quite funky if you think about it. I'm going to be doing another video soon. It's going to be on angular size. And what that is, from a person-to-person standpoint in real time, is the size in which you perceive objects to be relative to your position. So in Gears terms, it's if you're a Baird as opposed to a Sophia, how do you see the game? Well, you as a person are going to have your same perception, but in terms of character size and then what you see coming at you in the same frame, it's going to vary drastically between if you're the male or the female character. It's not going to be a hitbox discussion. It's going to be a discussion about perception and how moves like what I just did are why they actually need to be in the game. Maybe not the power of the melee, but the effect of the melee. Because what's going to happen, and I'll tell you this, guys, now, if you allow this game to be rifle dominant like it was in Gears 3, instead of having a balance, you're going to start to play against kids that mod, kids that just sit back and retro, and people that just spray with the Lancer. If you want Gears to be that, this isn't the channel for you. If you want Gears to get back to its roots, stand up for yourself as a gamer, and you want all that to be known, this is the channel for you. Doombringer out.